This is the easiest sorting system for Minecraft Bedrock using the brand new copper golems. So settle in and let's build. When it comes to materials for building this system, there are two sets of materials. Each copper golem is going to need a certain number of blocks for these little cubbies, and then there's also this component here, which is the input system, which you're going to need to build regardless. But if you want to have, say, 3 different segments, then you're going to take the materials on screen and you're going to multiply them by 3. All right, not only is this thing incredibly easy to build, it's incredibly easy to expand. So I'm going to show you how to build one segment, meaning like 9 chests. And then I'll show you how to connect up another segment, and it is incredibly simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by placing 2 blocks right here, and then 2 blocks right here, and 4 more blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, which is going to give us this backwards J shape. From here, we're going to come to this block, count over 3. So this would be 3. So 3 blocks of air, and then a block right here. Then we're going to grab our copper chest now, place down a copper chest like so. Grab your hoppers now. Place down 3 hoppers going across, and then 3 more hoppers, just like this. This is going to be your input chest. So I actually used a copper... I don't know why I used a copper chest there. This can be a regular chest for your input, and then we're going to place down blocks going across here, just to encase this and make it look nice and pretty. Place down a stair there, and then blocks going across here as well. To avoid having any baby zombies spawn, it's very unlikely, but let's just place down a row of blocks going underneath of those hoppers, and then we're going to finish this wall off just like so. We're then going to grab our chest now and place down 9 double chests on the front here, just like this, and we're going to do 9 of those in a 3x3 grid, set 1 block back from the front of our input chest. And in fact, if you want this all to be equal, you could just move your input chest up 1 block. I like to have my input chest popping out a little bit though. We're then going to grab our stairs, and we're going to place down 3 stairs going across the tops of these chests, and we're going to place down 3 stairs going across the backs of those chests. We're going to grab our blocks again, and again, let's just fill in underneath of those hoppers, place down a block right there, and then we're just going to place down a giant wall to keep everything nice and contained, just like this. After that, we're going to go ahead and place down a block right here, a block right here, a stair right here, and then a block on top of that hopper, and then blocks going across here. And you know what? We might as well just fill that in as well. So this is going to be where our copper golem goes. All right, and the last thing we need to do inside of this chamber before we get our copper golem is to place down 2 walls here, so that way they can't reach over into this area. Trust me, that's going to come in handy later. This wall is pretty important. We're then going to place down a copper block right here and a carved pumpkin on top to create our copper golem, just like this. He's already in that chest. He's looking around for items to sort out. So now is the step where we would label these chests with whatever you want to sort out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you how it all works. All right, I'm going to try my best to make this make as much sense as possible, but the best way I can put it is make sure that if you want to sort out diamonds, you have at least 1 diamond in here, because this copper golem is going to look for 10 chests. So we have 9 here, and he is going to sort out diamonds, iron. You get the point, right? So those items are going to get sorted out. However, if he can't find a chest that has any of these items, then he needs an empty chest to put them into. So we're actually going to remove this block and this block. We're going to place down a double chest right here, remove this block temporarily, and we are going to get our, okay, wait, actually, let's place down 2 blocks right here and then 3 hoppers. And this is, again, the beginning of the next module. So this is like the output. So these are going to be the, any of the items that he can't sort out are going to go inside of this chest right here. So if I gave him, say, item frames, they would end up inside of this chest, which are then going to go into these hoppers, which would then be sorted out into the next module, and eventually they would make their way over to your overflow chests. If you're only going to be using 1 set of walls, then I would recommend having a chest system like this, for example, or you know, like this, and just having your hoppers run into these chests, because then these are your overflow chests. If you had one of these front 9 chests as an overflow chest, so let's say that this one was empty and there was no more amethyst shard in here, as soon as something goes in here, so if I put a grass block in here, this is no longer an empty chest. If I gave him item frames, they would not end up inside of this chest. I would need to have an item frame in this chest as well. I hope that made sense. So it's very important that you have that overflow there to keep everything nice and contained and keep it from breaking. But again, I'm going to add another module on here. But if you were just going to build one module, make sure you have some overflow chests. All right, now everything is sorting and we can go ahead and test the system using these items. All right, I've made these chests a little bit more realistic. So over here, we've got our wood chests. We're sorting out different types of wood. We're sorting out stone. We're sorting out mob drops. And then of course, we just have my random chests, which are sorting out diamonds and things. But as you can see, this is a little bit easier to use than a traditional multi-item sorter, because instead of having to fill in all of the blocks, you can literally, if you have, you can't do the double click thing. If you have any amount in this chest, then it is going to be sorted. So because there are oak logs in this chest, even though there's empty space, nothing is going to end up inside this chest except for oak planks, spruce planks, birch planks, and oak logs. I really should have thought this one through. I'm sure there's a faster way to collect those. So I'm going to throw in our planks, our flesh, our whatever. Well, I guess those won't go through. Actually, you know what? That'll be a good test for the overflow. So he's not going to know what to do with the amethyst shards or with the prismarine shards. And let's just throw the resin brick in there as well, because he's not going to have those. So you can see he's already opening chests to figure out where to sort. And I'm not exactly sure what he had grabbed, but I'm just going to sit here and wait for him to sort through everything. Again, these are our overflow chests. And an interesting fact is that the copper golem can only pick up 16 items at a time. So he's only going to pick up 16 items from the chest and put them away at a time. So I'm assuming he put away some wood, and you can see he put away the oak planks. I'm just going to let this run out and I'll show you when it's done. All right, and as we ramp down, he is sorting out his last item, which is the amethyst shard. So it is going to eventually, he's going to open up this chest, which is going to flow into the overflow chest. I'm just going to wait and see if I can get there. This is the only part that is a little annoying, is that he doesn't exactly remember where things are stored, so he has to open every single chest once again. But there we go. He has just gone ahead and put the amethyst shard away. He's like, oh no, there's nothing else for me to sort. All of the overflow items, the resin brick, prismarine shard, and amethyst shard are down here. All of the mob drops are sorted, all of the rocks are sorted, and all of the logs are sorted as well. So this thing is incredibly awesome, especially early game, to have a sorting system like this. I wouldn't consider this particularly expensive. I mean, it contains maybe 10 or 12 hoppers. But I think this is super awesome, especially 9 double chests. This is literally starter game tier. I would not recommend this if you have, mountains of items. I would still recommend using a regular multi-item sorter with the fancy chests and things, because if you have any more than say 2 sets of chests like you do here, things get very slow, very fast, because for every copper golem that you're using, it basically makes the system 1 out of 9 times, or 9% slow. It becomes much slower because, again, this guy doesn't know where items go. He's just opening chests at random. So to have 2 of them, you're relying on this guy to sort items that aren't in these chests, to then go into the overflow chest, to then have this guy sort them again, which takes a long time. So if you were to have 3, by the time items got over here, it might honestly be 30 minutes. So again, if you're sorting out large quantities of items, any more than 2 of these systems, I would recommend going with a an old school multi-item sorter or just a regular sorting system. But for starter games and for cute little, storage systems, I think that this is actually awesome. I love that Mojang has added the copper golem. I think he works really well. And to just be able to throw, if I threw stone brick in here, now he's going to sort stone bricks in here. I don't know. I'm very happy with it. All right, but that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, then be sure to subscribe and leave a like. My name is 1UpMC, and I'll catch you in the next one.